Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all taking care of yourselves really well. Today we're going to discuss destiny swapping, and I don't know if you guys know what destiny swapping is. It usually involves a narcissist and an empath. Okay, someone with a great destiny, an empath has a great destiny. Empaths carry that light. That light is extremely powerful. In fact, they don't need any money to hold power, because many people mistaken having money with having power, when in reality that's not always the case. It's actually the influence that gives you the power, or the ability to influence people, especially without even trying. And empaths have that. And they influence, they influence people without even trying. They don't have to manipulate, they don't have to force, coerce, they don't have to push and force people into following them. They just simply have to be. They have to shine that light that's within, and people will want to follow naturally. And the reason for that is because, once again, most people have, or everyone has that inner light too. We are in fact light beings. Most of us are lost, and we have fallen asleep to that fact. And so, of course, we're going to be naturally, we will naturally want to be led by, or we will naturally want to follow someone that carries that light, because they have joy, they have peace, they have happiness, and that's something that no money can buy. And so when we see an individual like that, we naturally will want to ask questions. We'll naturally want to, be like them too. And so this is what my video is about. Okay, someone that's like this is extremely powerful for the reasons that I just mentioned, right? And a narcissist is a fake. A narcissist is a fake, and they can never have that light. Probably not in this lifetime, as narcissists are almost always incapable of changing, because they are not willing to take accountability for their actions, and they're not willing to look within. And because they're unable to, in most cases, they're unable to let go of negative emotions, such as resentment, such as hurt, such as grudges. Any grudges that they hold, they usually hold them for forever. And so they become, over time, they become extremely bitter and extremely angry and extremely hurt, and they become like sour grapes. Basically, they spoil with time, okay? And they don't age like wine, right? But they age like milk. And that's because, the reason being is because they're unable to let go of the negative emotions that are holding them back, and because they like to play the victim and blame others for whatever it is that they themselves started or instigated. So and that's the problem, right? And so in a sense they're hurting themselves, right? And so but yeah, guys, so let's get back to destiny swapping. Personally, it almost happened to me several times. And at that time, of course, I wasn't aware of what destiny swapping even was. But as you know, especially early on in life, empaths, light beings, God's people, they grew up in very, very toxic families. And those families usually took all of their inner positive qualities from them, away from them, and they, by the way that they were treating them. And so because of that, empaths, light beings, whatever you want to call them, right? They grew up with, or they grew up to have very low self-esteem, very low self-worth, and that made them susceptible to enter more toxic relationships later on in life. That's something that their nervous system was familiar with, and so a narcissist would be extremely familiar with an empath, because once again they grew up around people like this. And so this familiarity, because something is familiar, doesn't mean that it's good for you, right? And so that's why in most cases, if healthy relationships, they will not feel familiar, and they will feel foreign, and they might even feel scary because of that. So just keep that in mind. And and so once again, right, because empaths got used to this really, really toxic way of being or even interacting with someone, they, once again, later on in life, they're more likely to fall into this trap yet again. And I have fallen into this trap several times, guys, not just once, but, twice. Luckily, in the middle, like I spoke to you guys about in some other videos, I already had a good relationships. My good relationship also, the second one, it wasn't perfect. Okay, now that I look back, there are a lot of things that that could have been a lot better, and like I said, it wasn't perfect, okay, but it was a good relationship. It was much better than the other two, and so I had a really good comparison, okay. And so there's that, right? And so let's get back to destiny swapping, right? Narcissist sees that light, and they want to squish it. They want it for themselves. And so that's why also destiny swapping requires proximity. It cannot be done from a distance. It requires proximity because it just requires proximity, because the abuse usually takes place over in person, okay. And what happens is basically it's energy theft and life force theft, and in essence your soul theft. So they want to steal your soul, because your soul is your identity. It's tied to your purpose, and everything, right? And so narcissists, because they don't have their own soul, they want to steal yours. And so of course, by going into that toxic relationship with a narcissist, you by agreeing to it, you yourself are signing a contract. In essence, it begins in the spirit. So at first it's a spiritual contract, and then and they call them karmics, right? So they in essence they become your karmic relationship, and then from then on out, the narcissist starts to act like you. They start to dress like you. You will notice this, and it's a bit creepy too. So they start acting like you. They start wearing the same style, the same colors as you. They start wearing, I've had this happen with my ex-friend, my ex-best friend in high school. She started dressing exactly like me. One time we came out of the house dressed exactly the same. Like I picked her up in my car, right? And as I pretty much always did, and she came out of the house dressed exactly like me. And so that's pretty crazy. I was like completely shocked, but Yeah, like I said, they do. They know that you carry a huge amount of power, and that you're able to influence a lot of people, and they want that. They want that for themselves. They want the attention. They want the they want the glory, basically, right? Um, and so, yeah, like I said, they're going to start acting like you, dressing like you, and they will want to be just like you. But in reality, they don't have. While you have their best interest and you've never meant them harm, they will not have your best interest at heart. They will talk behind your back. They will. It's kind of like in the Mean Girls, right? Although I don't necessarily agree that this was necessarily a destiny swap, okay? But in essence, because Regina, right? Or no, was it Regina? Yeah, Regina, the blonde popular girl, she was a bit narcissistic herself. So I wouldn't say that she wasn't. I don't think she was an empath. But let's just say if Regina was an empath, then in the movie The Mean Girls, that would be the perfect example of a destiny swap. Um, Lindsay Lohan, she comes in, she's unpopular, right? And she sees Regina, and Regina has everything. And so eventually, Lindsay Lohan starts to, she So Regina comes in, or Lindsay Lohan comes in, and she starts She starts sabotaging Regina. Basically, she wants her boyfriend. She wants her life. Basically, right? She wants to be that popular girl, and eventually that ends up happening. Regina doesn't know about this. She's oblivious to it, right? And it's kind of the same with an unawakened empath, unaware empath. It was the same case for me, right? When I was with the narcissist, I only had the best interest at heart for them. I only meant them well, and in fact, I tried to help them, right? And because I saw or I felt their pain, right? And so once again, I discussed this in my other videos, and the empath usually stays with narcissists. Almost against their will, and because they feel sorry for them, because they want to heal their inner wounded child. They can sense it, they know that it's there, they can really feel it because they're very empathic, very sensitive, and so they want to heal them. And that's where they go wrong, because they don't understand initially, at least initially, that you can't really heal a person. They have to want to change themselves first. They have to heal themselves first. Although you can help, you can absolutely help, and you can be that guiding light. You cannot do the inner work for them. And usually, a narcissist is a failed project to begin with. They're not going to, like I said, they're not going to want to change. And so it's usually a waste of time, and not just a waste of time, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous because spiritually they want to steal your soul. They want to have that light for themselves. They want to squish your light. And over time, what happens in the destiny swap, if it's successful, the empath can even kill themselves, and they can end up dead, and just completely devoid of their soul and their essence, and they'll become like a shell of a person that they used to be. And of course, the changes are going to be obvious physically too. They're going to go from glowing and thriving and being healthy to possibly looking very anorexic, like they have an eating disorder. That's what ended up happening to me, and just being extremely drained and just always tired, always exhausting, just wanting to sleep all the time, So that's what happens in a relationship like that. And so, of course, what will happen too is that you will see the narcissist will start thriving. They're basically riding the coattails of the empath. And so, in essence, they're stealing their energy, and so they're using that energy in order to become successful in their own lives, and they don't give a damn about the empath that's, that's basically is laying there in need of major help, and is, dying. And they don't care about that. In fact, they want the empath to get killed. And once that happens, they'll just replace them. Of course, it's not easy to replace an empath, because God's chosen empaths, light beings, they're extremely rare. And because they're really, really rare, they're extremely hard to replace. And that's what the narcissist usually doesn't understand. And when they come into their lives, even in the when an empath or when a light being comes into anyone's life, people don't usually understand that they're there to help. They're there to guide them. They're there to make a huge positive change in their lives. And people take that for granted. And so most people, when they lose the empath, they maybe only later do they begin to understand what they had. But by then it's usually too late. Because empaths, light beings, they don't come around too often. And I would say they're not like most others. Like I said, they're very sensitive, very empathic, and they will do anything. They will do anything for those that they have chosen to go into a partnership with, or a relationship with, or, and so they're rare people. They're not like everyone else. They don't have the same hearts. They don't have the same minds. Essentially they came here to uplift humanity. And, that's why they get attacked so brutally and so often by the devil, by the dark side, is because, first of all, they're very obvious. They're very, they stand out. Their light stands out. And second of all, the darkness doesn't want them to uplift humanity. The darkness wants humanity to be where it's at. The darkness has been ruling for generations, and but that's changing, and part of that reason, or part of that change, has to do with empaths, God's people, who have basically who have come here to be that change, right? And so and to lead that change. And narcissists, their mission is the opposite. Their mission is to stop empaths from shining that light, and from ultimately uplifting humanity. And their empaths, once again, it is a spiritual battle, right? And so narcissists want to squish that spirit. They want to use that energy for themselves, and their ultimate goal is to kill the empath. Their ultimate goal is to kill them, or for the empath to kill themselves. And their ultimate goal is to steal that light, steal that life force, and steal that energy. And use it to get advantage in life for themselves, to gain advantage, to prosper and to succeed for themselves, by themselves. They have no interest in sharing. They have no interest in working as a team. It's your enemy. The narcissist is your enemy. They're not going to want to share. They're not going to want to make you better. In fact, they want the worst for you. And so, if you stick around with them for too long, then ultimately you're going to end up, just a shell of a person that you used to be, and then eventually over time you might even kill yourself, like I said, right? Or they will kill you, So, and then once again, once that soul is gone, they will just replace you. They'll discard you, and then they'll find someone else. And that's it. You know, once their mission is done, once they have gotten rid of you, they'll go on to someone else, kind of like you, or just like you, if they're able to find someone like that, or just another source that they can get their hands on. Basically, guys, these relationships, they can be with anyone. These relationships can be with a grandmother, right? They can be your family members. They can be they can be romantic, they can be work relationships, but as long as you guys are close, okay, and you interact pretty much almost every single day, then it can be then they can do their job basically, and they can start the destiny swapping, okay? And so yeah, it's not limited to simply merely a romantic relationship. It can be between a grandchild and a granddaughter or a grandson. It can be between aunts, it can be between uncles, it can be basically anyone in your family, as scary as this is. And so guys, it doesn't just because someone is blood, they're in your family, doesn't mean that they have your best interests at heart. And so don't be surprised. You know, certain families were more often than not light beings, right? God's chosen. They're born to very dark, demonic families. And so don't be surprised if someone like that is in your family. Someone who wants to destiny swap with you. It can be your mom, it can be your grandma. Once again, and the reason being is because it's a spiritual battle, and your mom, for example, or your grandma's, it was in my case, they are not, they're no longer human. They are driven, or they became possessed, and they're now driven by that demonic spirit. It's kind of like being hijacked by a parasite, which often happens physically. But this is a spiritual case, right? And so, spiritually speaking, they're possessed by dark entities, demons, whatever you want to call them. And so, and they're not aware of that. These people are usually very, very unaware. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos, okay? If you guys like this video, please hit a like button. Please subscribe and support this channel if you're so called to do so. I would really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching.